Megan, well, lovely to have you on the AH Language Lab. Tell me all about you. Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm from Manchester in England. I'm currently living in Mexico because I love traveling and languages. Last year, I started my own English coaching business, Mega Language Coach. But I've been teaching English on and off for about 10 years, and I love it because I totally understand where people are coming from. I have learned German and French, and I'm currently learning Spanish. And yeah, travel is something that I find interesting for lots of different reasons.
So
And I
that's
love meeting my students from all over the world.
excellent. So you like a nomad or something? Are you going to be traveling to another place, still doing your stuff online, and is that what you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. I still have itchy feet, thinking about coming back to Europe at the end of the year. So yeah, looking at visa options and never sit still for very long, to be honest,
No,
Jerry.
that's amazing. That's really cool. And you've been in Mexico for how long?
About a year now, yeah.
Okay, right. And so you from Mexico, you're hopping right, left. You've been going to different places and visiting other countries, or you kind of settled in
Uh,
Mexico?
a little bit. I'm trying to explore, like it's such a big country, and I didn't realize until I got here how much there is to see here. But I've already got a trip planned to Costa Rica next month, so I'm excited for that as well.
Very nice, lovely, lucky you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm Shrewsbury, Shropshire. Obviously, I'm quite lucky. Well, a bit more traveling to Spain and France and stuff, and other places. But yeah, Mexico. I always wanted to go there, so that sounds really, really lovely. Um,
Yeah, come visit.
yeah, I would. I'd love to. Sadly, I can't do that at the moment, but yeah, maybe in the near future. Let's talk about AI, obviously, because obviously it's the AI language lab. Um, how would you describe your confidence levels with AI right now? So obviously AI has been out for quite a bit now, and it's been evolving at speed of light. And so I came up with some kind of six personalities not so long ago. I've got a skeptic, the secret user, the copy paster, the curious but cautious, the ethical warrior, and the power prompter. But sometimes you could be in between different type of people, but where are you in terms of AI? Do you feel confident? Is that something that you use all the time, or what is it?
I love these six ideas and six personalities because I can definitely see that I've progressed through a few of them. So I started off as very skeptical, and I'm like, this is not traditional. This is not something that I can see is going to make a big impact. People learn from people and human connection. And kind of as time has gone on, I've definitely become more of an explorer, more open minded towards it. As a teacher and language learner, both kind of directions. I think it does give me a chance to be a better teacher and a little bit more spontaneous. And that kind of works with my dogma lessons. So I'm trying to embrace it a lot more and be more curious and learn as I go.
Okay, so in what way it makes you like a better teacher, like you mentioned? How does it make you a better teacher? Is that because you have more time to prepare your resources with it? It just goes a little bit faster. It means that you have more, let's say, more time with your pupils online and do stuff with them, or is that you're tight on resources as your resources are more exciting? I don't know, because you spend more time on it. What is it that makes you a better teacher?
All of the above.
All of
I
that.
think
Tick the box.
I love the personalized option. So if they're interested in something very specific, in the past, I didn't think we would have time as teachers to create something just for one student. We work in kind of bulk and we try and do resources that we can reuse again and again. Now we have the ability, because it's instant almost, to create resources that are perfect for their interests, their level, what they want to learn, and really tailor it to what they need. And I think that makes it a lot more exciting and a lot better for them. And it makes me feel better that I'm providing exactly what they're looking for.
That sounds amazing. Sounds really good. And do you do one-to-ones, or you do have classes? Is that one-to-one?
Like one. Right
One-to-one.
now, yeah. In the
Oh,
past, I've done classes, but right now it's just the coaching
no,
one to
no,
one.
no, it's great. No, that's brilliant. Obviously, you're using the bespoke aspect of AI that is really, really good, isn't it? So you say let's say your pupil's got an interest in something specific, you can, do a little bit of research and find that and just use that. That's exactly what you say. Not brilliant. And what has helped you build your AI skills over time? Do you have any specific resources, some trainings? You've been on communities online, or where you learned from it? You've watched some videos. What helped you do that?
Yeah, well, I actually saw your webinar, the Linguistar one, and I watched that about the AI. But I think generally just having this kind of curiosity and learning from the community. I'm a big learner by doer. And so I see people saying, oh, have you tried this prompt? Or, oh, try this and see if you can make resources. This is a great tool. And I think being part of communities of educators that are also exploring AI, I think is beneficial because we can share ideas and reflect together and realize like some of them are better than others. Some of the techniques and prompts work better. But more recently, I've been trying to educate myself a little bit more. So I've been watching some YouTube videos. I'm going to some like in-person events here in Mexico with people that are in the industry. And I did take a course online as well.
Oh, you took a course?
Specifically for teachers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that is someone based in England, also something in Mexico, or what was it? Or was it just like
I can't remember specifically. It was just like how educators can use it in the classroom, like with live events with students and clients, but also to give feedback.
There's a lot of there's a massive amount of things like that online these days, isn't it? And when you started using AI, were you a bit apprehensive with using it and so what am I doing and what's going on and things like that? Was that something that you were a bit fearful of at the beginning?
Yeah, skeptical was the perfect word that you described. I work a lot with Germans. I used to live there, and that's probably my strongest foreign language. And that influences my teaching style in so much that data protection is a very big topic for them. And so I was obviously concerned about this and passing that on. But I think over time it's become more of a skill. And it's like the same way I encourage my learners is to be open-minded, but not use it as a magic wand solution. Like it can work with you rather than for you. And just taking small steps,
Yeah, there's a lot these days where you can see on LinkedIn or other places where people are saying that, AI makes you less intelligent but because you seem to be relying a little bit on it, people copy paste and don't even think about, is that something that you agree with? Do you think that people could be too reliant on things like that and just do that and less think? Did you notice anything maybe with people or things online or people not using or using it a bit to be reliant on AI and the answers and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. When we're as language teachers, we normally talk about 4 main skills. And I've noticed a massive increase in clients telling me they don't want my support with writing skills because they have ChatGPT or they have things for emails. And I just still try and explain to them that it's still a core skill. We still have to be able to produce the language if we don't have the AI there. But they definitely seem reluctant for additional support on that. And they focus more on the speaking, like the human connection. And I do worry about the over-reliance on just constantly almost emailing chatbots, between each other because there's no actually humans involved apart from the copy and paste.
Yes, you copy and paste, and there's absolutely no skills getting into that at all. The message goes through. Yes, it's a bit scary. Is there any apps or any programs that any apps or large language models that you use a lot these days? Or your staples in your work, in your preparation and stuff? Is there anything that you like using on a regular basis?
Yeah, I'm loving Brisk at the moment.
Okay,
I think that's really good for podcasts, make the listening practice. Again, because you can make the podcast designed exactly to the learner's needs and what they're looking for. And it's a great way to download the transcript and do lots of things with that. One of the people I've connected with online on LinkedIn called Sam, he has a tool called ESL Tree.
Okay.
That's really good for vocab lists, like in different levels, and also collocations and idioms. So I like that one. SpeechMy is good because it tests different accents. So obviously I have a British English accent. Sometimes the clients want to practice English from different places in the world. So that's a good tool. And I use an AI quiz creator quite a lot just to kind of test the vocabulary and get a bit of variety in there as well. So they're the ones that spring to mind.
No, absolutely. I'm a big fan of Brisk, actually. As you said, the podcast thing which came out not too long ago is really, really impressive, isn't it? You can name your characters and they can have a conversation and and you can do some quizzes and stuff. Like it's really, really exciting. It's really fun to do that. And the speed of light also just creates a quiz, and the voices are so good also, isn't it? It's really, really
I
good.
wish I'd have had this like when I was learning languages, because it just feels like it's made for you and it's a tailored experience makes it so much more engaging.
It is. It is. No, and obviously it works nicely with if you are Google orientated, but apparently it's coming over to Microsoft too, so it's going to be quite native on both. But I think you'll have to watch the space. I think they announced that not so long ago, but that'd be quite exciting for people who use Microsoft a bit more probably. But who hasn't got the two of them anyway? People usually have a Google account and they have a Microsoft account anyway,
Right.
so it usually works both ways, doesn't it? Um,
Yeah.
so how do you keep your AI knowledge up to date without feeling overwhelmed with all the things? But if you have a look on LinkedIn every day, there's something coming out,
Yep.
and how do you subscribe to newsletters? Do you watch something on a regular basis, or what? How do you do that?
Not really. I think it's like all corporate professional development. You can't try and learn everything all at once and it can't take over your life because you're still doing your main job.
Of course.
For me, it's really important to have like off-screen boundaries. I find myself that I can stare at a screen, for 12 hours a day, and that's doesn't feel like a healthy decision for me. So I try not to consume it all at once because it's an entire industry. I do what I can here and there. Probably I watch a couple of videos a week. I like the webinars like the one you did because it feels more interactive, more human again. But yeah, I don't think you can try and learn all of AI in inverted
No,
commas.
it is impossible anyway, to be honest. Is you cannot learn all of AI. And again, sometimes there's going to be something trending and 2 weeks later it's not there anymore. So it's just, the long run usually, I think. But yeah, that's it. It moves very, very quickly, and yeah, sometimes you think, oh my god, another stuff there. But it's like usually before AI, there was ed tech tools and stuff which appeared in the lockdown and stuff, and so you have to use this, use that, and then after that, it was just people not even looking at them. It's just like a frenzy for a couple of months, and after it just disappeared, isn't it? So I think.
Yeah, I do think this one will be here to stay. And luckily, I think actually language teachers have an advantage. I think we are almost training like the chatbots or the things that we're communicating with the same way we train our students. We have to rephrase the prompts or we have to give clear instructions, and we're already really good at that. So I think using it in our industry is a positive.
Good. Yeah, yeah. I think I'm the same. I think there's a lot of positives. Some people say it's very negative in different ways, but I still think that if you're a user yourself of AI
Mm.
and you use it already in your job, I think if you've got the skills to be keeping up with things, whereas if people say I don't want to use it, it's quite unlikely that they're going to be overtaken by people who actually use them. So it's something that people need to be looking into. But in your view, what's the minimal level of AI proficiency a teacher should have to feel comfortable using if you're in a class or if you're in a one-to-one type of a situation like you are? Do you need to be super comfortable, or do
Um,
you just be by experimenting you can just get by and create stuff, or what do you think?
I'm trying to relish the discomfort a little bit more as a room, in the same way that I encourage my students to speak before they're ready. Sorry. We can't wait until we're 100% feeling like, yep, let's do this until we actually start implementing it. So I think it's enough to be able to write a clear prompt. And really importantly for me is to assess the quality of the output. We can't just rely on it religiously and think, okay, this has been given by AI, let me use it. Um, I think it's less about the technical skills and more about the critical mindset and like the creative thinking, which needs to go with the AI, which we all have as humans, hopefully. So adding those things together, I think that can be the best use of it. And the proficiency goes together with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, yeah, I think again, I agree with you there. You have to be creative and definitely check the output of what you can get, and there are so many ways to be asking questions and getting what you want from it anyway. So always, as I said, never take the first 2 or 3 answers anyway. You always have to look into it and just tweak things so you really get what you want to get. Do you see AI more as your co-teacher or slightly unreliable teaching assistant?
I think a bit of both.
A bit of
I
both.
use it primarily for brainstorming and getting the ideas or some inspiration, or maybe if I'm teaching kids, like a new idea for a game. But as you said, I think it's always important to double check the output. Um, the advantage that I have as a teacher is that I know my students and the AI doesn't. So they might suggest listening activity and it sounds great on paper, but I have the experience of being with my students and know what would work better or what might not work for different reasons, which are not always tangible reasons you can explain to a robot. So yeah, definitely a pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt.
I think it will become more of a co-teacher as time progresses.
Yeah, it depends. And again, you're on one-to-one, but maybe in a classroom, sometimes you could be using a bot or something like that, and you could have several people working at the same time. But in the one-to-one situation, so do you give your students some homework to do? Homework. Do they have to do stuff? Yeah, you try. Okay.
And working with adults and working with kids is very different. So a lot of the time they don't have the time.
Okay.
The time that we have together in the classroom, that's kind of what they can dedicate to their learning each week. And I totally get that. They have busy lives and jobs and all of that. So generally I don't, because they are not able to commit to it and I don't want to waste everybody's time.
Of course.
If they specifically ask for it, then yeah, I do.
Okay, well, fair enough. Now, there's just obviously, I taught adults also in the past, but sometimes as you said, you want to give some extra little things to be done on the side, but it doesn't always work the same way. In your opinion, which skill area, speaking, writing, listening, reading, has AI helped you most to develop in your learners?
I think the receptive skills, so for making quick text or audio, so definitely the reading and the listening. I think the speaking and writing, that's a little bit more complex to develop, but yeah, being able to understand and get that comprehension from different sources has been useful with AI.
It's quite fun also, I suppose, if you can add different accents also to it, like, can have a good Scottish accent or something like that, or a good Welsh accent or whatever. It's quite fun to get the variety of accents with people speak, I suppose.
Absolutely. And then that's a really great pathway to discover the culture of that accent. So I've done a lot of lessons that have been popular about Manchester and the idioms from there and northern customs and things. And that's a great segue into looking, okay, what's the difference between American English or British English? And, breaking it down a little bit further. So using those tools to then offer other insights into more than the language.
Just a question, it's not especially linked to languages, this one there, but I think it's probably something that does AI help you in developing your business? I'm kind of interested in kind of a AI and business input and stuff like that. Is that something that you could bounce off ideas with it and say how to expand your business or how to advertise? Maybe is that something that you've been using also for on the personal level, not especially for the teaching?
I would say to a lesser extent. I've actually recently started a newsletter, and in the first edition I said, this won't be AI content, this will be written from the heart. Almost kind of a pushback against, I receive a lot of emails specifically, which I can tell haven't had much human input. So for me, I want to continue that human connection with my clients and that outreach. I think for the ideas, like you said, it's good. But I really want to prioritize connection in my business and have that human approach.
Yeah, no, fair enough. A human for sure. I mean, just bouncing off ideas. Just, you want to say, oh, maybe I want to reach more out to more people. What should I do? Well, that's the kind of thing you could have done or something, or you've done. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. For brainstorming, I think it's a really great tool because it gives you an insight into the things that you would never think about. And then that really starts the ball rolling in a completely different direction that I think, because I'm working solo and everything's my decision and I have, of course, just my own thoughts going around my head. So it's a great way to get input from an external source, the way that you would 20 years ago sitting having coffee with a friend.
That's it. But yeah, I suppose you're probably better off having coffee with a friend and bouncing off ideas there if you can. But it's not a bad thing to be able to have access to an AI but obviously you don't have to be taking the advice I tell you, but it's good to have some kind of bouncing ideas around. Have you noticed any changes in student motivation or confidence since you started using AI in your lessons?
No, not really.
Not really.
For me, the motivation is very intrinsic, and I don't know how tech will change the desire to learn. Maybe in the younger generation, it might have an impact, but because I work primarily with adults, they either want to learn for their job or for their travels, or they don't. And I think not really a tool is going to change that at this time.
Fair enough. And some educators fear that AI will replace teachers. You said that it's not going to be the case, but what do you think? Do you think that because you for example, Apple is going to have some earphones coming out where they will be able to be hearing and it's going to be auto translating things for you. So there's kind of a danger as us as teachers, as language teachers, say, okay, I've got these things. It's like the Babel fish in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, isn't it? Is that
Yeah.
something that you think will later on we're still going to be in danger in a way or not?
I think we are not giving ourselves enough credit, Jerome. We're so much more than
Of
translators
course.
or living dictionaries. And I think that, yeah, there will be lots of translation tools, there will be lots of automatic tools, but that can't replace our intuition and the classroom dynamics, and the way that teachers can personalize learning. I specifically focus on things that are not about language learning in my coaching sessions, and that meaningful interaction about the culture, about the things, my lived experiences, about the things that they have lived and learned. I don't think that tech can take over that, at least not now
Good.
or in the near future.
No, that's great. Good to hear. If we fast forward 5 years, how do you imagine AI will have changed your classroom or your one-to-one situations? Do you think it's going to be a change in the next 5 years, the way you're going to be interacting with people, or not at all?
I can't imagine how the next 5 years are going to look, because if you'd have asked me 5 years ago, I couldn't imagine being here. So it's changing so fast, and I think that's the surprising thing about it. But I do think learners will use AI more independently. I'm noticing this as a learner as well as a teacher. And it'll be more like a language partner to consult outside of the class. Like, oh, we looked at the second conditional in class today. I just have a few questions about this, and maybe kind of go into more detail about doubts outside of the hours of the classes. I think as teachers, we'll spend even less time creating resources, but that means more time coaching, guiding, curating, all
Yeah,
of that good stuff.
I suppose it's an advantage in a way. Even though it's quite nice to be able to produce your own resources, that's always something that I was never very happy to be following a manual. Do you follow a manual when you teach, or not really? You do your own stuff.
So,
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
No, some people do. I don't want to. I do want to be going the wrong way, but I quite like. I really like myself creating my own stuff and make sure that you don't really follow some kind of pattern, which doesn't work at the end anyway. At the end of the day, I think anyway. But it's better, to be personalized, and because you have this one-to-one interaction, I think it works much, much nicer, isn't it? And tell us, what's one creative way you use AI that you think other teachers should try? So you talk about Brisk already, and that fantastic way to be creating these mini podcasts. Is there any other stuff that you use and say, oh, that's brilliant? I could share that with some other people?
Yeah, I love hearing these gold dust ideas from other teachers as well. So one that's worked well for me is using image generators. There's loads of different tools for this. But then playing like a Shark Tank game, or Dragon's Den, we call it in the UK. So it's getting the client or the student to sell and explain a new product or a new idea, which is totally not realistic, but they're using their language skills to look at an image and translate that into a vocal description, and also use persuasive language at the same time.
That's a fun thing to do, and that's really, really fun. Yeah, indeed. I agree. I've done it many occasions. And what do you use? What do you say? There are many tools that you use. What tool exactly do you use to be creating images? Is there anything specific?
No, I haven't found like a specific favorite one yet. I'm kind of testing a few out. Have you got any that you would recommend?
No, it's fine. To be honest, ChatGPT's got their own one, which is fine. Yeah. There's lots of them around. Canva could be hit and miss, even though you're allowed to be, you can do plenty of possibility to do stuff, but I think the quality of the image is not great. Adobe Firefly is not bad either. And also these tools are free. So yeah, I think you can, but ChatGPT does very good images. I used to be using a lot Midjourney myself too, but you have to pay. But I have to say, if you can prompt it nicely, Midjourney is really, really good. It costs about I think it's not very super expensive, about $10 a month or something. You just have to learn how to use it, but the quality of the image you produce is very high. But for teaching, you don't really need to have quite quality things. You just need to have an image anyway. So
Yeah,
there's
sometimes the crazier the better.
yeah,
If it's
absolutely.
ambiguous, then that's more
Even
creative.
if people got 7 fingers, it doesn't really matter. We just get on with it. Actually, it could be a talking point. It could be a good one to
Exactly, yeah.
use. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Finally, complete the sentence. AI in language learning is like because. Could you complete the sentence? I'll try. I don't want to put you on the spot there, but it's okay. I can cut
Uh,
later on anyway. In the editing if you're stuck for a few seconds also. So AI in language learning is like because.
I would say AI in language learning is like a calculator. It can speed things up and support the learning, but it can't replace the human interaction or the real communication.
Fabulous. Thank you very much. That's awesome.